Thanks everyone for joining. Welcome to the Found Space webinar. Today, a brief overview. I'm going to give you guys a bit of an update on Found Space, some of the things that we're working on in the background. There's some really cool stuff happening at the moment. And then we're going to get into the questions. And we had over 150 people sign up, and there's about 50, almost 60 questions that people submitted. Thank you guys so much for submitting those. I'm not going to be able to get to them all, but I've categorized some of them into certain categories which I can cover. So I'll do my best to get through them. For those who are tuning in live, as you may have questions come up, put them in the Q&A and I'll do my best to get to those as well. And then at the end, we're going to pick 3 winners for a drink bottle giveaway. We're giving away some stainless steel drink bottles like this. So that's how today's going to go. It'll probably go for 30 to 45 minutes. And let's have some fun, especially for those who are tuning in from the sauna. Love it. So let's get into it. Before we start with the questions and the update, I just want to let you guys know a bit about me. My name's Alex Tyson. I'm the CEO at Found Space. You're probably wondering, this guy looks pretty young. How does he know what's going on? Found Space was originally a business set up by my parents. And I've been working around saunas for over 15 years now. I've been setting up saunas when I was like 15 years old and been living and breathing this space for a long time, and got involved because we were helping people with their health. You know, I've been running the company for 5.5 years now, and our mission at Found Space remains to create a healthier world. That's why we do sauna. That's why we do these webinars, because sauna is just the start. There's so much more to sauna than just sweating in a hot room. And that's why we do what we do at Found Space. Over the journey, I've been on my own health journey as well. I've fasted over 50 days on water, cumulatively 30 days and 21 days. I've done lots of juice fasts. I've tried the whole raw vegan thing. I've tried the keto thing. I've tried it all. No, it's not true. It's infinite with health, as you guys know, but I've really used myself as an experiment over the years to see what works for me, and tried lots of things to take my health to the highest level possible. That's what it's all about, because when we're healthy and we're vibrant, we can go about life in the way that we want to. And so different things work for different people, but that's what it's all about, finding what works for us and using the tools that we have, sauna being one of them. So that's a bit about me. An update on Found Space. Our app is finally coming toward the end of the year. In that app, we will have educational courses. I've got one in there. We've got a couple others to start with, and we'll be building those out ongoing. So when you're in the sauna, you can open up the Found Space app and you can tune into our educational courses run by health professionals around the world. We talk about nervous system, we talk about movement, we talk about sleep, we talk about all these things, of which so many of you guys had questions. So that app will be out by the end of the year, which is really, really exciting for us at Found Space, and I know you guys are going to love it too. These masterclasses are going to be ongoing moving forward, so we'll bring in different themes each time, and there'll always be a Q&A because there's so many questions about sauna and what we do and how to get the most out of sauna. So these masterclasses will be ongoing, and it's a great way to bring the community together. You know, there's 150 people around Australia who are tuning in and listening and learning, and we're all connecting over the same thing. We love sauna and we love doing things in our day-to-day to take our health to high levels. That's what it's all about. So the masterclasses will be ongoing. There are a couple of questions in the queue, in the questions submitted about remote sauna capability. We're still working on that. I think sometime in the first half of next year, hopefully we'll be to market with that. I don't want to sound like Elon Musk and say a date and then it ends up being 4 years later. But we're deep in the development of that at the moment, so we can control our saunas from our phone. Super exciting development. And yeah, we're a long way toward releasing that, which would be really, really cool. So it is coming. It is coming. And that'll be the same app which we have our educational content in. It'll all be in the one place, which is really cool. And at Found Space, we continue to do development in the background on other health-related products that we can bring into the home space to help create a space of wellness. That's what it's all about. We spend so much time in our home, and the quality of our health is affected by the type of space that we're in and the type of products that we have too, because it's hard to become an expert on sauna and then be an expert on what to eat and then be an expert on filtered water and then be an expert on movement and all these things. And we're bringing more and more of that together into the one place to help all of us achieve what we want to achieve. So that's a bit of an update on Found Space. Thanks everyone for continuing to ask some questions. Cool. Yeah, I'll answer that question later. Great. Let's get into the questions. There was a lot. And there's some really good questions in there. So thank you everyone for submitting. Now, I've categorized some of them. There are a lot of questions about temperatures and what time, how long to stay in the sauna for. There were questions around weight loss. There are questions around sleep. There are questions around time, how long to stay in the sauna for. And then there was some general kind of maintenance questions and these kind of things. So I'll do my best to get through them. I wanted to start with a bit of an overview. There were a few questions around like what's actually happening in the sauna. There was a bit of ambiguity around that. And so what I want to talk to is a reminder of the basic physiological response that's happening when we're in here. So even at the moment, I've got this sauna, it's on low. I've got the full spectrum heaters running here just to keep me warm. It's a bit cool and sunny coast this morning. And what's happening is the heat coming from these panels on the walls or full spectrum heaters, if you have a full spectrum heater, these heaters are emitting a very specific wavelength of infrared light, right? If it's full spectrum, it's from around 640 nanometers, which is actually red light, all the way through to 10,000 nanometer wavelength of infrared light. If it's far infrared, it's from about 7,000 to 10,000 nanometer wavelength of far infrared light. This is a very specific wavelength of light. If you look at the whole spectrum of light from the sun, infrared's just a very small part, which is why these heaters are so special. And what's happening is this heat or light or energy, it's the same thing, it's interacting with our body. It's hitting the cells on our body, and our body, our cells start to energize, right? And they start to vibrate, and that heat starts to penetrate more and more deeply, right? So our cardiovascular system starts to activate. We start to move more blood through the joints and through the muscles and through our cardiovascular system. We start to transport more oxygen through the body. Our blood vessels dilate. It's called vasodilation. We start to transport more oxygen through the body as we get hotter, right? The blood starts to come closer to the surface of the skin as a way to cool the blood, because it's cooler outside than it is inside the body. And then we start to breathe deeper as part of the cardiovascular response. We get hotter and we get hotter. And then ultimately the body gets to a point where it says, it's so hot right now, I'm going to push hydration through the skin to sit on the surface of the skin. So then the outside air, which is cooler than the inside body temperature, will cool that water and cool the skin and cool the body. And that's sweat. So the reason I share this is because it's a very natural physiological response that's happening when we're in the sauna. Whether it be infrared or even whether it be steam, it's activating our body's natural heat response. It's activating our body's cardiovascular system, right? It's also having an influence on our body's nervous system, right? Whether we're in parasympathetic or sympathetic nervous system, rest and digest, or fight or flight. It's also having an influence on our body's endocrine system, right? The certain hormones that are released within the body will change when you're in sauna, and will also change when you're at different temperatures in the sauna and for how long you're in the sauna. I share this because these three systems we can really influence based on the settings that we use in our sauna. And this is why the infrared sauna is such a powerful health tool, because we can adjust what we want to experience coming out of the sauna based on the settings that we use. This isn't as easy to do in a steam sauna because they're really hot. They're less efficient at heating the body. That's through the process of the hot air and the steam. They don't heat the body directly like an infrared sauna does. And so they need to be hotter, 80, 90 degrees. And there are some benefits to that, but there are some downsides too. In infrared sauna, we can adjust how we want our cardiovascular system, our nervous system, and our endocrine system to respond based on the settings that we use. And so I share this because there are a lot of questions about temperatures and times. How long do I stay in there for? How do I use it for sleep? And so what I encourage you guys is to think more about these systems and how we can play with them differently. So I want to talk to that in a bit more detail now. Now, in my book, as you guys know, or you may not know, I've read a book, Health Supercharged, and it's quite literally how to use infrared sauna and shift your lifestyle to become healthier. And in here, I go in depth about using sauna for cardiovascular benefits, about using sauna for sleep, about using sauna for skin, about using sauna for pain relief, sauna for detox. I talk about it in depth in here. So if you guys want to go absolutely into the science-backed information on sauna, check this book out. It's on the Found Space website in our accessories, and you can learn everything about it there. And what I talk about in that book is when we start using sauna, the first thing to do is to find a baseline sauna session. Now, what's a baseline sauna session? A baseline sauna session is where we use the sauna. We want to find a temperature and a time that we're pretty comfortable at. Now, this will vary for pretty much everyone, depending on your level of fitness, your overall level of vitality. Currently, for me, my baseline sauna session is about 48, 50 degrees for 30 minutes. Baseline sauna session means you can come out of that, you've had a good sweat, you feel pretty good, you don't feel taxed, you don't feel like you didn't work very hard. You just feel pretty good. Finding a baseline sauna session is really important because in a baseline sauna session, you're activating your cardiovascular system. Your nervous system isn't really influenced so much. You know, you might be slightly in parasympathetic, which is great. And your endocrine system, you might feel a little bit more vigilant, a little bit more energized, but overall, you just feel pretty good. So I encourage you guys to think about what that session is for you. Now, when we start to change our sauna settings to achieve desired results, we change it based on our baseline. So many of you asked about sleep. Let's unpack sleep right now. First of all, sauna session. Okay, we want to use the sauna in the evening. Maybe it's before dinner, maybe it's after dinner. That's up to you. We want to go 5 degrees less than our baseline temperature. So if my baseline's 50, I'm in there at 45. And we want to go 10 to 15, maybe even 20 minutes longer. This gives our body time to really receive that heat, that deep heat that we know about infrared. It gives our body time to activate the parasympathetic nervous system. Rest and digest calms us down. And our endocrine response, it's not really influenced. We're not really activating our body, right? We're feeling calm coming out of that session. We're not working the body too hard. If we work the body too hard, we're going to stimulate the endocrine system. We're going to release norepinephrine into the brain. We're going to be awake. We're going to activate the nervous system. This is a really common mistake that people make when they start to use infrared sauna at home. And they heard that they're great for sleep and they go in the sauna in the evening and they cook themselves at 65 degrees for 30 minutes and they come out and they're breathing hard and they're drinking water and then they try and go to bed 20 minutes later. I hear this regularly and they can't because their body's too stimulated. So that's the sauna session. 5 degrees less, 10, 15, maybe even 20 minutes longer. When you're in there, use a red color light if you have color therapy in your sauna. Red is one of the last frequencies of light we see from the sun. I'm pointing to the horizon over here. It's one of the last frequencies of light we see from the sun. And that tells our brain it's the end of the day. It's time to relax. It's time to start to release melatonin in the brain. Sleep chemical, we know this, right? It's time to start to convert, melatonin. It's time to start to convert that serotonin that was created during the day into melatonin. In fact, that's where most of our melatonin comes from, right? This is an endocrine response I'm talking about now. Red color light tells the brain it's the end of the day. It's time to relax, time to start to release melatonin, right? When we're in the sauna in the evening, we're listening to calming music. Maybe we're not listening to music at all. Maybe we're closing our eyes and tuning into our body. There was one question someone asked about, how do I just clear my mind? And just tuning into the breath is a great place to start. And you might get lost on something that happened in the day. Just come back to the breath. This is the evening sauna session. So we're in there, 45 degrees for me, right? I'm going 45 minutes. I'm going red color light and in the roof. Outside of the sauna, the lights are down, right? Let's get out of the sauna for a moment and talk about sleep. Other things that we want to avoid, and this isn't, well, this is my experience, but this is what the sleep scientists of the world say. I've done 2 great podcasts with Sveti Williams. Check those out. We talk about this a lot. Stimulating lights in the evening are going to keep our brain awake. Screens in the evening, 1 hour of screen time is going to delay the release of melatonin for 3 hours, scientifically shown. So when we're coming out of our sauna, we're not going into bright lights because that tells our brain it's daytime, right? We have light receptors in our eyes, in our retinas, and on our skin. So our skin receives light, the information from the light that's coming to our body. So if we're coming out of the sauna into a bright space, that's telling our brain that it's actually still daytime, right? So it's going to delay the release of melatonin. We're going to change our endocrine response to keep our body awake. So when we're coming out of our evening sauna session, we want to keep the lights low, maybe some salt lamps, some candles if you can. We want to avoid screens. We want to avoid TVs. We want to avoid computers, right? We want to avoid loud noises because they also stimulate the body. We can also come out and have a chamomile tea. We can also come out and we can supplement with some magnesium. Great before bed. Our body uptakes magnesium much easier in the evening and when we're sleeping. And it also just makes you sleep really well. These are some of the things we can do. There's some great, if you're into medicinal mushrooms, there's some great medicinal mushrooms that will help calm everything down. So the evening sauna session is about activating the parasympathetic nervous system. It's calming down the body, calming down the mind, and then just keeping that energy for the rest of the night. We're not getting out of the shower, out of the sauna and having a cold shower. We're having a lukewarm shower. Just rinse the sweat off. That's it. Maybe we're having a chamomile tea. Again, muscle relaxant, calming. Maybe we're having some St. John's wort or some nettle tea. It can be quite nice. And that's just from personal experience. Some magnesium, great thing to supplement in the evening. It's hard to get magnesium, harder and harder to get it from our soils at the moment. These are some of the things we can do in the evening. Lukewarm shower, chill out, read a book, bedtime, sleep. Right? That's how we adjust the sauna. Now, coming back to the systems. When we think about the systems, people are asking about weight loss. Great. So how do we want to change our systems for a weight loss perspective? Again, let's bring it to the overall holistic approach. Sauna is just one part of that. Now, when we want to lose weight, we want to work the body, right? There's many of us who can't go out and do intense physical exercise for many reasons. The sauna is a great way to supplement that, if you will, right? So we're in the sauna. We want to be working. If our baseline's 50 degrees, we want to be in the sauna at 55, 60 degrees. If our baseline's 30 minutes, we want to go anywhere between maybe 5 minutes shorter because it's a little bit more intense to 5 minutes longer. If you can, know your body. I don't know your body. You might not be able to push that long in a higher intensity session. Tune in. What we want to know is how hard are we working in a weight loss session. If we're breathing and it feels really hot and you find yourself looking at how much time is left, that's good. That means you're working. If you're looking at how much time you got, 5 minutes, you go, oh, I don't think I can do 5 more minutes. Great. Right? We're working the body. We're working the cardiovascular system. We might even be getting out of parasympathetic and into our sympathetic nervous system. Our endocrine response is going to be norepinephrine, maybe a bit of adrenaline, right? We're going to be stimulated. We're going to be awake. That's a sauna session. Now for me, holistic approach, morning, use that sauna session in the morning. Go hard or as hard as you can, right? If you can do some exercise before that, even better. If you can be in a fasted state, even better. When we do intense exercise or intense cardiovascular work, it activates human growth hormone release into the body when we're in a fasted state. So you can stack all of these little things together to be to your benefit. There's some science around heat shock and cold shock, creating thermogenesis in our brown fat stores. That means the brown fat is heating up and being converted into energy. That's what we want. So if we're coming out of that sauna session in the morning and we're jumping into a shower, great. Cold shower, yes. Cold bath or a cold ocean, even better. This hot to cold, really powerful for weight loss, really powerful for overall longevity. That's a whole webinar in itself, I think. So those are two examples, guys, to think about how we can activate the cardiovascular system, the nervous system, and the endocrine system to change how we want to feel after a session. A great rule of thumb, if you want to be more stimulated, if you want more work, cardiovascular work, turn the temp up, go longer if you can, right? And if you want a more calming session, turn the temp down, maybe stay in there for your baseline sauna session. Great. Okay, I've talked a bit about sleep. I've talked a bit about weight loss. And I've talked about the temperatures and the times. So I hope that's giving you guys a bit of a rule of thumb there, right? And a bit of a better understanding. Some of you asked about detox. When we're detoxing, we don't want our body to be in a stressed state. We need to be calm. If we want to digest our food, if we want to build muscle, our body needs to be in a restful state to do that. So we don't want to cook ourselves in the sauna. So for those asking about detox, find that baseline session for you. It might be 55 degrees for 25 minutes. Great. Great. So just do that, right? Yes, there's a lot of conflicting science out there around infrared sauna and detox. Anecdotally, I've seen that it helps. I've seen people sweating orange colors. These are farmers who have worked on, what's the term? Standard agricultural farms for 30 years, using pesticides and fungicides every day. And I've seen them sweat colors. I've heard of some amazing experiences of people reducing their heavy metal toxicity, right? And there is some science to support some of that. Hopefully there'll be more one day. Hopefully Found Space will be big enough one day to be able to do our own research. It's on the cards because saunas help. So if you're detoxing and you're wanting to use the sauna for detox, don't work yourself too hard, but you want to have a good sweat. You want to get the body working, right? So baseline sauna session is good for that. Okay. I'm going to go through some of these questions now that I've, and see where we get to. First of all, there's a couple of questions come in the chat. Here we go. EMF is starting to be more of an issue in terms of health. Can FoundSpace please look at providing Ethernet connection capability so Bluetooth Wi-Fi radiation is limited, especially to sensitive individuals? Shani, it's definitely something that is on our mind. So thank you for sharing that. BodyFit Training, Geelong West. Hi, we're about to install a sauna in our fitness studio. Wondering the benefits either before or after you work out. What would be most beneficial for our members? Thank you. Well, there's a few ways. After a workout's great. You're going to keep the circulation moving. You're going to help move some of that lactic acid out of the body, especially if you're doing a really gassy workout. Sauna is really great after that. I do a lot of running. Just yesterday I went for a 6K run in the morning, came back 20 minutes in the sauna. It was great. And I just felt more limber after that. I didn't kind of get all jacked up. Sauna can also be great before a workout as a way to get some heat into the body. So then you can start your workout limber, especially in those cold mornings. Getting straight into a workout can sometimes be a bit tough. You can also use the sauna on a non-workout day as a way for some kind of not moving your body, but still working the body. And on those days, I would actually crank the temp up for those who are really fit and just go like 60, 65 degrees, 30 minutes, maybe 40 minutes if you can. It's hard work. And really activate some of those heat shock proteins in the body and do this in a fasted state in the morning. It's great. Human growth hormone, these kind of things that we want when we're trying to build. So sauna can be great to use then. Great question. Okay. Teresa, how do I find my base session? So I'm not sure how much you've used the sauna or not. So I would say start at 50 degrees for 30 minutes and see how you go. If you don't have a lot of cardiovascular fitness or strength, maybe start at 45 degrees for 30 minutes and see how you go. If you notice you're counting down the time because you're feeling hot, that means it's too hot. Maybe you've been in there too long. And so adjust it down from there and find the right space. Okay. And lastly there, Jordana, can you talk about the black spots from sweating? I'm not exactly sure what you mean by that, Jordana. If you post something in there, I can get to it. Okay. Let me have a quick look through some of these other questions that were submitted. Best strategy to sweat max in the shortest time. Exercise to get a bit of sweat up, then into preheated sauna ready to commence. And definitely how to use the sauna to optimize sleep, what time of day after exercise, how hot. Cool. I've covered that. Thanks, Rob. And best strategies to sweat in the shortest amount of time. Be really hydrated before the sauna session. Do some form of exercise to the point where you break a sweat, and then jump in the sauna when it's hot. And then you'll just keep your sweat going. Great question. I hope that helps. Improve sleep, weight loss. Best session for chronic fatigue. Find that baseline sauna session. Stick with that, maybe even go 5 degrees less. Chronic fatigue, we don't want to work the body too hard. We want it to be really light, gentle sauna session. If we put too much work into the body, that's going to be counter to what we're trying to achieve. Is 30 minutes in the sauna beneficial before bed? Can sauna assist with better bowel movements? 30 minutes before bed's great. Katja, great question. As I've just mentioned, don't work the body too hard. Red lights, some chamomile tea, maybe some lavender essential oils, lukewarm shower, just chill out for 15 minutes before you get into bed. Yeah. And just be conscious, don't drink like 3 liters in that sauna session because you'll be peeing. Can sauna assist with better bowel movements? From my experience and understanding, it's hard to say really. I think there's a lot of higher priority things we need to work on when we're talking about bowel movements. Are we caffeinating ourselves every day? That has influence, pros and cons to that. Are we eating hydrating foods? Are we eating fiber? Are we digesting correctly? there's a fair bit to that question. It's hard to say if sauna is going to help with bowel movements or not. Do you have any tips for making the aromatherapy work better? Yeah, Laura, just put some drops of the oils on your towel. I know I do that. I also know some people who have actually bought a diffuser into the sauna. The little tray is okay, but you can do some things if you really want to get the smell really pumping. Does the time of day have any impact on health benefits? Yeah, it certainly does. As I've mentioned, how we feel after the session and when we use the sauna for certain things does kind of make like fit into certain parts of the day. And we have generally, I'm cookie cutting here because everyone's different, but generally our endocrine response is different in the mornings to what it is in the evenings. So in the morning, there's typically a bit more cortisol in the system because our body's trying to wake up. So we're typically more energized in the morning than in the evening. That can vary for people, but so with that in mind, then in the mornings, typically a more kind of energizing session. I think it's great to do fasted, help continuing on any detox that's been happening through the night. And I say detox, I mean light detox. I don't mean like heavily detoxing major things, but we go through a light detox every evening, and that can continue in the morning if we're in a fasted state. So energizing sessions in the morning, detox sessions in the morning are good. Any tips for using sauna for skin health? Laura, again, great question. And a few other people asked about skin health. Use the sauna in any way to get to the point where you're sweating. You're going to be pulling hydration through the skin. You're going to find a suppleness of the skin. Near infrared has been shown to promote collagen production in the skin. I don't say that lightly because we all want that. And it's really cool. That was a study done on mice. Hasn't been done in humans yet. Again, one day we'll have more, hopefully some more money coming in for these tests, but they're very expensive to do. But that test has been done on mice to show collagen production in the skin, which is amazing. Near infrared's also been shown to help with scar tissue, healing of scar tissue, which is great. So these full spectrum heaters here have a near infrared element. Sorry, not element, but they emit the full spectrum, and part of which is near infrared. But just got to be careful with the language there because it's not like a specific element for near infrared. So when we're also looking at skin health, dry brushing is great. Dry brush towards the heart is really nice. You can do that at the start of your sauna session. You could come out of your sauna session and do like a Frank body scrub. They make some really cool body scrubs. I make a body scrub courtesy of Tyler Tolman. I make it out of vodka, triple distilled vodka, bicarb soda, and peppermint essential oils. It's actually really nice to do on your skin. I even do it on my face. And that just cleans all the dead skin off. And I'm brushing it on with like a coconut fiber scrubber. Really great. So look, there's heaps of different skin regimens out there. You can do some dry brushing beforehand, or you can come out and you can use whatever scrub you want to use after you've had a good sweat. Your skin will really thank you for that. Keep hydrated. Good, healthy skin comes from within, right? So we can be very topical, but ultimately, if we want really good, vibrant, healthy skin, it comes from within. What does that mean? It's the foods that we're putting in. There's some great like microgreen powders out there. I use one at the moment from a company called Sun Warrior that has some collagen precursors in that as well. Greens are really great for skin, microgreens, and just like, yeah, in powder form, it's really, really good. There's heaps of stuff in that space, but putting the right foods in, getting the right minerals in, they're going to help give you healthy skin. Also, if you're like acne and these kind of things, gut related too. So like work on the gut, work on the digestion. This is going to help the quality of our skin overall. So great question there. Okay, there's a few. So there's a few people who had some questions about kind of day-to-day sauna stuff. Clarity on how to use the control panel, especially how to get the near versus far infrared panels on. Recommended timeframes in sauna, we've covered. Recommended care, how long after a virus should we avoid sauna? So that's a really interesting question. Sauna is going to give us a boost to the immune system, right? When we get sick, our body has an immune system response, and it increases the temperature of our body. Because when the temperature of our body is increased, our immune system response is increased. There's some crazy study, which almost sounds too good to be true, that showed that when our body is increased, I think it was just a couple degrees, the immune response was like 200 times stronger or something like that. It was out there. Whether that's true for everyone is hard to say. However, we know that naturally when we get sick, our body increases our core body temperature to ramp up that immune response. So we can do that in sauna, right? We can jump in here and heat ourselves up. Now, the caveat to that is, I've heard anecdotes of both, and I've even had my own experience where sometimes sauna can really help if I've got a sickness or an infection or a virus or something coming on. But then it can go the other way. If you work the body too hard, then it's just like going for a really strenuous exercise. When you're sick, you typically feel worse afterwards. So sauna is a good thing to use. Again, there's so many other things that we need to be focusing on when we're dealing with some sort of sickness. But it's okay to use the sauna if you're not feeling so great. Just don't work yourself too hard. I've generally found like going in there at 70 degrees, trying to sweat the sickness out, doesn't typically work. Cool. Okay, a couple more questions coming through the chat, and then it's almost time to wrap up. Okay, let's go from the bottom. Hey, Shani. Yeah, they say as soon as you get COVID, you should have a hot bath or sauna for 30 minutes. Yeah, as I was saying. Yep. Can you use salt in sauna if you have respiratory system? I'm guessing you mean inhaling salt. Yeah, that's a common thing that people do. If that's something that works for you, absolutely go for it. Jordana, I noticed black spots on white towels when sweating in sauna sessions. Do you know what that is? My best guess is that that's something coming out of the body. So it's kind of cool to see that, but without talking to you directly, Jordana, it's hard to say exactly what that is. Does sauna break down fat cells? Example, a family friend has had fat cells injected in her breast tissue after surgery. Will sauna reduce fat cells and reduce her fat in this area? Look, it's really hard to say. Like I was saying before, hot to cold therapy can help thermogenesis in our brown fat stores. Sauna can definitely help reduce cellulite when used, getting the body nice and close to the heaters consistently. I've heard some great stories about that. In this particular instance, it's hard to say. I'm not sure if they're trying to do that or not. If they are, sauna is only going to help. Remember, sauna is a natural response for the body. So it's making the body work naturally to cool itself. And then there's some cool physiological benefits associated with that. Yeah, sorry, anonymous. I'm not sure what else to add to that. So thank you, everyone. I hope what I spoke about with the sessions and the systems of the body has given you some insight on how to use it. Yeah, there were so many questions. I felt like I really needed to categorize them because many of them were similar. And I hope it's been beneficial. Thanks everyone for joining in. It's been fun. Just know that you guys are saunaing and we're all saunaing together. I was in the sauna just yesterday morning, and I knew that at the same time there was probably 500 other people around the country and New Zealand using sauna at the same time. And that's really cool. So we're all enjoying saunas together and all getting something out of it, which brings me great joy to know that we're all enjoying this amazing product. To wrap up today, I am going to announce the winners of 3 stainless steel drink bottles. Drum roll, please. The drink bottle will be like this, but in much better condition than mine. The 3 winners are Rachel Dance, Ross Adams, and Shani Serotic. Congratulations, guys. Very nice. We'll be in touch with you guys to organize and send out a stainless steel drink bottle for you all. You're welcome, Shani. And Nat, thanks, Alex. Been sauning for 6 years, but you gave me some great tips. Amazing. I'm really glad to hear that. So that's it, guys. Thanks everyone for tuning in. I hope this has been a helpful masterclass. There's more coming. We're going to have different themes each time. We're still going to answer some of these great questions that you guys have and help you guys get the most out of sauna. I hope today you learned a bit about how to integrate sauna for sleep, how to maybe use sauna for weight loss, and just how to influence your body's systems to be able to get the most out of your sauna session. As always, if you have any questions, contact us at Found Space, and we're here to help. That's what it's about. So thank you guys so much. Have a great day. And most importantly, happy saunering. Thanks, guys.